every day when I wake up, there's always the question of why did I wake up today? You have an idea, you want to express it, you share it with someone, and it fails simply because they don't see your vision and they are not willing to collaborate. So this is a very expensive hobby, by the way. To anyone out here who is listening and they want to be a photographer, this is not cheap.
We Drive It podcast, the journey of the young CEOs with Ronnie Jolly. Hujambo na mambo vipi? Welcome back to We Drive It podcast. This is another episode. I'm so happy every single day when I continue with another episode. I'm so happy, with full of joy that I'm impacting other young people through the journey of young people. And these young people are young innovators and young CEOs. I want to remind you that in We Drive It podcast, we explore the journeys of young CEOs and young innovators shaping their industry. I'm your host, always Glory Jory, nobody else. And today, we're driving into the vibrant world of photographer. Oh my God, I want to know more here with a special focus on creative and innovation. I don't know where to start, but I think this is a time we need to join together. So join me as we reveal the story behind SMA Lifestyle Studio. I think, guys, you're asking yourself, where is this studio located? Soon, you will know where it's located. It's a hub of creative and art expression founded by Ronnie Cliff. But guys, before I continue further, so I want to shock you before I continue. So when I heard your name the first time, I was like, I know this person is a very big person, and this person also is from Kenya. And I'm like, am I interviewing the same person I know? I was like, okay. Later on, they told me, this guy is somewhere in another area of Kenya. So I was like, it's okay. So I may shock you. You have the same name. Like there's not much different. By the way, he's a visionary photographer and creative director based in Kisumu, Kenya. And I think I need to tap in Nairobi. I don't know. Nairobi, are they busy? I don't know. I need to ask. By the way, Ronnie Cliff, you're most welcome.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Jolie, for having me.
Who is Ronnie Cliff like? A little bit intro, then we should drive into your journey.
Okay. So as you've said, my name is Ronnie Cliff. I am a young man from Kenya, Kisumu, Kenya.
Okay.
But I wasn't always in Kisumu. I've been to many parts of Kenya. I was born and raised in Nairobi, where the people are busy.
I think you have carried your busy to Kisumu.
Kisumu, yes.
That's so cool.
I was born in a very small slum called Kibra. You might have heard of it.
Yeah, I've heard of it.
Yeah, so that's where I was born, and I think guys in Kibra are very creative, very innovative. I think that's where I tapped into my creative self. But then from there, I moved to different towns, different cities, Eldoret, mostly with Kalenjins and those are tribes in Kenya. And then eventually, I went through school to all of these different towns, so I've seen a lot, I've interacted with a lot of cultures, and I think that was a very nice experience for me. It exposed me to a lot of things, and when I finally settled in Kisumu, I found myself at first doing different things, just trying to see what fits and what sticks, and then eventually I landed on photography as an art form, and this is where I truly belong. Yeah.
Maybe I take you back when you were a child. Is there any dots connecting you of what you're doing right now? I think that's the journey. That's the journey a little bit starting.
Yeah. So that's the dots are there. They are very much scattered, but they're there. So the latest time I can recall myself doing photography is when I was young. I think just before high school. I used to take my mother's phone. She had an Oppo something at the time.
Okay.
Very early in the morning, I wake up my baby sister. She's 2 years younger than I am. And we want to capture photos of her in the sunrise. So this is us at 6 a.m. knocking on our mother's bedroom door. You said you understand Swahili. Yeah,
Yeah, I do.
yeah, so I can switch now.
Yeah, switch.
Tusaidie na simu yako, tunataka kwenda kupiga picha. This is very early in the morning. Anatupatia simu, there's no one in the streets. We go out and find nice rooftops and take very nice photos. At the time, I used to believe these were very nice photos. Now, but at least it was somewhere to start with. So that was the first time I noticed I am into photography. But then I didn't really take it up. It didn't hit me that this is something you can do in life. So I went into other things still, not regarding photography. But eventually we landed here.
Yeah. I think that's where I blink at how did you begin SMA Lifestyle Studio, how you brought it together.
Like I said, I was not very keen on my interest in photography, but it seems other people were noticing. So other people were noticing that this boy is good at this thing. So I have a cousin who procured a camera from a friend, a different friend of his. And he was like, ndugu yangu, unajua kutumia hii kitu? At the times, I didn't have knowledge whatsoever. Lakini confidence ni nani? Nikaambia najua later. So he brought the camera and I played around with it kidogo, and then over time people just want to know, who is this? What are you doing? Can you do this for me? Can you do this for me? And I was in denial. I didn't consider myself a photographer. Watu walikuwa wananiuliza, are you a photographer? No. It's just a hobby. Maisha tu. Yeah, but now I've truly accepted. So that is how it started. I was just playing around with the camera. And then over time, we needed a brand. We needed a name.
Okay.
So I had before I was a photographer, I wanted to be a comedian.
I think you need to give me one part to make me to laugh in this podcast.
Okay, no problem. At the end of the podcast,
yeah,
stay tuned. At the end of the podcast, I will be giving you a fire joke. So I wanted to be a comedian. So just before that, I'd made an Instagram account that was dedicated purely for jokes, but I had not posted anything. It was called Seem Funny. So seem funny, if you mix the two English and Swahili words, it's not funny. It literally translates to not funny.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. So the page was dedicated to the jokes, which were terrible, by the way. They were dad jokes, not actual jokes. But I had not posted anything. So when me and my cousin got together and we are looking for a name, and he's like, "Siutumie hii seem funny." Hey. Nikashanga aje sasa, this is photography, this is comedy, how do you merge the two?
Yes.
So it struck me, if I put art hapo mbele ya Seem Funny, now we have a full name and I can merge the two things and come up with an excuse later for why that name is like that.
Okay.
So that was Seem Funny Art, short for SMA. SMA is Seem Funny Art.
So this is really crazy. So you got this name out of comedy, whatever you're doing. So you say, I think I can match it together.
Exactly.
Okay, cousin, where are you? I need to give you congrat. At least you create a name. I really like where you started. I think I've come to realize whatever somebody is doing right now, there's some dots connecting you when you were still young. And we come to realize it later a bit. And that's what I'm saying to you. As SMA Lifestyle Studio seems to be more than photographer studio.
Yeah,
so how would you describe the uniqueness and the approach that drives your work?
So I think I'll start with a background. All along, I would generally consider myself a creative person.
Oh.
So just before I started taking pictures, I really loved being taken pictures of. But now to find the person who we would sync ideas so that they can execute what I'm thinking. I'm telling you, please please take this like this. And they are really not seeing the vision. So then I trained my little sister. She was the one who started taking photos of me, but still something was missing. So I decided, if no one else is going to execute what I want, I feel like there is a need, and there's definitely more than just me out there, more people than just me who feel the same. You have an idea, you want to express it, you share it with someone, and it fails simply because they don't see your vision and they are not willing to collaborate with you. So SMA is all about taking what I have creatively, listening to what you have creatively, and then finding the best way to execute that outside of just one photography session. So I will, if I want to shoot glory, I will have a sit down with you, we'll have a conversation, just loosen up kidogo, and then at the end of this conversation, I will have true insight of who you are and what your needs truly are. And then we will go into meticulous planning and then execution, and even afterwards, we will do follow-ups with you on how we can better work with you the next time. So hence the lifestyle. It's not just about the session, it's about what do we gain before, what do we gain during, and what do we gain after.
Oh.
Yeah, so that is the lifestyle.
That is a very unique part of it, because most of the photographers, when you meet them, they don't ask you, like having a little conversation with you, like to know you a little bit. Maybe also it could give them creativity, and it's very me so far with photographer I've met. I've never get such conversation. I end up like, I want a photo of this. Okay, are you ready? Yes.
So we are beyond that. Because I struggled. There was a need before I became a photographer. I noticed the need. Most clients enter a studio and you just freestyle until you go back home. A very brief conversation with you allows me to know who you are and allows you to know who I am. So by the time we are getting into the studio, we are both having a good time. There's music playing in the background. It's all dancing and good vibes.
Before we continue further, there's these scenarios I've seen a lot of for photographers. They're really welcoming you the time you want to take photos, and they promise you also you get them soon as possible. You know, you see. So after them telling you that, you have that expectance of like, okay, I've taken a photo today, I'm gonna receive my photo tomorrow early in the morning. So because I'm a client and I need those photo immediately, I will start calling you. It's reach a moment, photographer, they can switch off their phones. They may not pick your calls. Are you doing the same thing maybe?
No.
How do you manage that?
In real life, who Ron is outside of being a photographer, Ron is a communicator.
Oh.
Some people have told me that I am not great at it, but I believe I'm good at it.
Yeah, believe yourself now.
Yeah, so whenever I have work that is due, say if I promised you work in 24 hours, if by the 23rd hour I am not done, I will contact you before you contact me. And then I will ask for an extension, a brief extension, just for you to allow me to extend kidogo with your photos, and then I will deliver. So I've found clients are comfortable with that. Instead of switching off your phone and disappearing, more clients are comfortable with communication. So you say that this is the problem I've encountered, this is the solution I am offering, and then you deliver your work in time.
Ooh, yeah, I think that is the best way, and that is the best way to communicate. Me personally, if I have a business with you and you inform me earlier before the specific day I'm supposed to receive, I will be okay with it. But if you don't inform me, that's where I will feel bad. I was like, this is not how we do business. Yeah, and I think all photography, you're listening to me, please, you need to adapt to this. Stop switching off the phones, ignore calls, all that. By the way, you know what, Ronnie Cliff? Let me give you a jazz a little bit. So I have my sister. It was, she knew that it soon it to be a birth. So she called the photographer, took a lot of photos, 10, and she paid the photographer money. So I think the photographer promise her that I'm gonna send you photos before your birthday. She was waiting for those photos. She kept calling him, doesn't pick, doesn't answer. Few minutes to reach another date. I think she asked again a photographer, where are the photos? Do you know what photographer say? Everything
Wow.
I've corrupted in my computer, my hard drive, so I've nothing to give you out. I start to put myself in the shoes of my sister. I'm like, I don't know how pissed I could be if I could be near with the photographer. I don't know what I could say or what I could do, because it's something I've put my time on it, and at the end I get nothing.
So that has actually happened to me recently.
Oh, sorry.
Very recently, I was in studio. I just finished a session. So then I'm done. The client is leaving, and I want to preview the work that we have just done before I start working on them. The minute I take the card out of the camera and I put it in my drive, it just crashed. So I'm getting a warning that the only way I can access this card is to format it. And formatting the card means losing all the photos.
Yeah.
So now I'm in a dilemma. I go deep into the internet trying to figure out, because this has never happened to me before. So it's very new to me. I'm doing my research. I'm trying to find, how do I extract these files out of this card without formatting. So my colleague is ako hapo kando yangu. He's worried, where did the photos go? Because I lost photos for I think a week worth of photos.
What?
So my colleague is worried, what will we do about the photos? The clients are worried, what will we do about the photos? I am worried, so it took I think 4 days. Now the client was mad, but I called the client, I communicated, I told her exactly what was the problem, hoping they would understand. And then I told her I'm working to fix it. Eventually it was fixed, but before it was fixed, I had offered her another complimentary session. So just walk in, we will do another session, and then you will get free photos. But eventually, thank God, everything was fixed and I delivered the work. But just so it does not look like we are liars.
I can see now you are standing for other photographers.
Yeah, exactly. So for my other photographer brothers and sisters, we are not liars.
Some of them are.
Some of them are, but sometimes genuine things happen. Machines can just be machines. Yeah. So when that happens, it all comes down to, how do you handle it as the photographer? Don't just disappear or make promises you cannot keep. Just be a nice decent human being. Yeah.
Oh, I think photographer, at least you have someone to defend you, because I was going to be against him. So as you have grown in SMA from the ground up, what are some of the significant challenges you faced, and how do you navigate them through?
There has been many challenges, especially with the model I chose to start up with. So I think I've mentioned before that we started with literally nothing. No cameras, no nothing. But as we progressed, this is a very expensive hobby, by the way. To anyone out here who is listening and they want to be a photographer, this is not cheap.
It's not cheap and it's not easy.
It's not cheap and it's not easy. You will be out here thinking, all I need is a camera and I'm good to go. On the day you buy your camera, the person selling you the camera will tell you, okay, now you need a battery, you need an SD card, you need a light, and you'll buy those things eventually, and you'll think this is enough. And then you go out and then you realize you need a softbox, you need an extension cord. Hey, it's a lot. So with these challenges, you're entering a market that is well saturated with professionals who have gadgets and gears and everything they need to do to sell themselves. So how do you sell yourself to a client when you're clearly the underdog? That was the first problem I encountered. So you have to find a distinguishing factor. So with me, that was my eye. I have a very keen eye for detail, and I have a good heart, I believe. So I sit down with someone, I share my vision. This is what I want. And this is the time I used to do free photo shoots just for marketing myself. So you work with someone, you work on a project and make sure you truly deliver, and then someone else will see it and they will say, I want something like that. So they're coming with expectations. They think they're going to find a very magnificent setup to do their things. Wanafika hapo, they find you with one camera and no lights. So a lot of people were shocked. I remember one time I was called to an event. The event was big,
Yeah.
and they thought I was coming again with my gadgets. And I showed up with one camera. These people were visibly surprised. In fact, they were tormented. How are you going to deliver work with just this one machine?
One machine.
Mhm.
Okay.
But I told them, don't worry, I am a professional. I will deliver your work. And the work was done, and they have been my client ever since. Yeah. So there's a bunch of challenges you learn every day. The main one has just been to be comfortable with the idea that whatever you have is sufficient. You don't need to be comparing yourself with other people who have established themselves. So it taught me patience. So there is no rush.
I think patience is the key, especially to us young people.
Very true.
As you said, there are many people who are very creative. I'm telling creative, bringing forth and you look at it and like, wow, how? And here I come to bring AI to is taking over with our talents, all that. So what is something that you're doing right now to say, although AI is there, still I'm doing it. I'm gonna do best as I can.
There's a trouble with AI. People like AI. I've seen photos that people generate of themselves. You just upload your selfie and it generates a whole photo of you.
Yeah.
Well, some of them are good. Some of them are very disfigured. You have a beautiful face, but you have no fingers.
By the way, I've seen that. Like, even sometimes it take away the eyes. There's a way eyes are not been seen.
Exactly. That's why people still need us. But in the same light, in the same breath, we also need AI, because when you look at technology from the Victorian ages, the agrarian ages, it's always invention after invention, and we cannot fight change. When change happens, we just have to embrace it. So in my line of work, I might say all I want to say about AI, but it has really, really helped me elevate and speed up my workflow, my process.
Oh.
Yeah, so right from when you want to do your research, you have your chat GPT. With my editing software, we have a lot of things. We have automatic generative fields, so you don't really have to do a lot of work. So you find yourself achieving better results in very little time. So in as much as we are fighting AI, I think the best thing to do is find out in your industry how best can I use AI to take me to better places, instead of just thinking, oh, AI is going to take our job. Yeah.
You're being a creative, and that's your space. But also you are innovator. How do you combine creative and innovation to impact the community?
As of this year, I had very specific goals, and my goals were one of my goals was to touch the lives of the community in one way or the other.
Okay.
So late last year, I had two students who want to learn my process, and it really opened my mind. I felt like if I can teach this too, then definitely there's people out there who are curious, people who want to learn, and these are things that will help them. So as of this year, I started, it's not official, but I started some sort of campaign, help educate members of my community, so that people who have the same creative itch, you're itching to be creative, you can reach out to us, and then we will offer you a free course on photography and editing. So it's not just about me, it's about my legacy and what I leave behind.
Wow, that's so cool. That's so cool. To add a little bit, how important is it to you also to mentor and empower the next generation of creativity?
It is very important to me. I've always said I strongly believe my purpose on this planet, this hard rock solid earth, is to teach.
Oh.
So everywhere I am constantly dishing out nuggets of wisdom. But I truly believe that I was brought on this earth to teach. Any little chance I get, I will pass out knowledge, and then I will pass that straight out to others.
That's really amazing. So on your side, what's it that's something that make you stronger?
Every day when I wake up, there's always the question of why did I wake up today?
Wow.
I could easily have not woken up today,
Yeah.
but I found myself awake. So maybe there's a greater power, there's a greater reason as to why I need to be waking up every day. Means there is so much more that I'm still supposed to accomplish. If I wake up, I am very motivated to work, to do things, to impact the lives of others.
So in all that, some of the projects you have done, what stood up for you?
I think this was last year. I took a photo of an old lady and then I posted it on my Instagram. Just a random old lady. A few weeks later, somebody DM'd me on Instagram, which is very rare, by the way. They requested for my email address, they sent the email, and they were fully professional to the very end. They wanted my services for a grandmother's gathering. It was an international grandmother's gathering. Yeah. So I was going to shoot more grandmothers. It was an international thing.
Wow.
So just because I posted a photo of a grandmother and it landed on someone's page somewhere in Canada, Toronto, they felt like, let me reach out to this person. They don't know me. They have never seen me. They don't even know if I'll deliver. But they trusted me to the very end. Yeah, of course, I got good money from that, but that really stood out because I had a very fun time shooting the grandmother. It was something that is not really in my area, not my comfort zone.
I think in another angle of your studio, maybe you need to look away to take photo of a lot of grandmother, and you may never know you get a lot of gigs.
Yes.
People be looking for you. They say there's one photographer, he targets only grandmother and grandfathers.
Exactly.
So maybe think of it. You may tell me one day that it's working.
Yeah, that's a new idea. I'll definitely start.
I would love you to give me some short tips, like 5 for this young upcoming photographer. What are the tips that I can use to start to be a photographer?
Okay. Number 1. Whatever you have, be it a phone, a cheap camera, just go out and take the photos you love to take. Number 2, carry yourself in the way that you want other people to perceive you. So me, the first mistake I did was, this is a hobby, this is not my job. So just embrace it. Be the photographer that you are meant to be. Number 3, do not play with people's time. You tell someone you're going to be somewhere this time, be there at that time, regardless of whether they're there or not.
Wow, I like
Number
that.
4, do not play with people's money.
Wow, that's too huge and big.
When you're given a job, you said you'd deliver. And then number 5, interact with others who are in the field, who have common interests. Just be around people who share the same ideas as you. So if you want to be a creative, you need to be around creative people. Yeah.
Wow, thank you, Ronnie Cliff. Thank you for sharing your inspiration journey and insight into the innovative work happening at SMA Lifestyle Studio. Maybe one word for young people outside there.
Be you, but in a way that does not offend other people, because people will get offended.
Always.
Yeah.
It has been a fantastic conversation, surely. What do you think?
Thank you for having me. My joke.
Let's close up with a joke.
Yeah.
You are a comedian, Leah.
Okay. Are you ready for this one?
I'm ready.
Wakulima bora lazima wavae nguo zipi?
I don't know.
Niambie.
Niambie.
Crop tops.
Crop top, Willie. At last you have made me to laugh. Ronnie Cliff, thank you.
You're welcome.
Guys, that's how I'm closing my podcast. Have a nice day, Ronnie Cliff. Join us next time for more inspiration stories of young CEOs and young innovators shaping their industry.